Right, here we are with CARTER DALGETY, 2.4 million in prize money, 4 Group 1s, 155 wins. You are our picked driver for the Ultimate Driver Championship coming up in Brisbane next month, CARTER. You only started driving in 2021. Does it feel a bit surreal that 3 years on, maybe 3.5 years on, you've had 4 Group 1 winners, you've driven over 2.4 mil, 155 winners? I'm guessing when you started out back in late 21, that was just a dream.
G'day, Fitzy. Yeah, 100%. You probably couldn't have put it any better to be out there only for a couple of years and be lucky enough to get those sort of stats. It's going really good.
Obviously, it all helps with the support you get, right? And from an early age, just for the people out there that don't know the CARTER DALGETY, they might see the CARTER DALGETY winning these Group 1s and on a bit of media, but take us back to the early days. Obviously, your dad, Cran, you have Kentuckiana Lodge out there in West Melbourne and Christchurch. It's a big training establishment. Your family, we can go through the DALGETY family tree, but we could be here all night. There's that many of them involved in harness racing. So from a young age, harness racing was it for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Both my parents being trainers and family on both sides, uncles being drivers and granddads and sort of everywhere. Harness racing's been right through me. So yeah, it's sort of been there my whole life, and came into driving probably, I wouldn't call it late, but later than usual, and yeah, giving it a crack, and didn't really expect too much, but yeah, I've just had some really good trainers give me a crack, and yeah, I've been trying to make the most of it.
Now, growing up, obviously at Kentuckiana Lodge, Mark Jones was there. I know he won a World Drives Championships, I think, while he was at and employed by Cran. And then after that, probably the most influential for you, Dexter Dunn, who actually has a slot in this too. So that's going to be an extra one. But what was it like as a young fellow? I know I've seen lots of photos of you two together when he was driving here. But what was it like being around him when you were growing up? Did that help the aspirations to be a driver?
Yeah, most definitely. Dad's sort of had a pretty good run with young drivers. So to have Dexter was sort of there when I was younger and growing up, sort of the whole time, and to see him start from sort of the bottom, where I started, and then to work his way through New Zealand premierships, winning Group 1s, and now killing it in America. So yeah, to see the whole journey is pretty cool, and it definitely gave me a lot of motivation.
Now, back in 24, roughly about August, I think you headed over there for 3 months to America, staying with Dex, taking on the American lifestyle, which we know is a fair bit different to the New Zealand harness racing style. Drove a few winners over there. So, what was the main? I suppose you're going over there to experience that racing, but what did you take out of it as a driver? And talk us through that trip and what the things you learnt that you probably didn't know before you went.
Yeah, I was all like my whole life I've been really keen on American racing, and with Dexter living there now, it made it a whole lot easier for me to jump on a plane and get over there. And it was 3 months, and I fit so much into that time. And I sort of started out in New Jersey, where Dexter's based, and got to go to races like the Hamiltonian, and then done some training with multiple different trainers, the Kiwis that are over there, a lot of Europeans and that. So it really opened my eyes. I will say probably the biggest thing was I just couldn't believe how different it was compared to New Zealand and even Australian racing, and the way that they train them. Obviously, they only run over 1 mile in all their races, and we're doing sort of everything. Well, yeah, doing everything from 1 mile to 2 miles. So um, that was really different. I think some things you can take over from here, and some things you can bring back. But it's just completely different. But the drivers and the trainers, great people, so friendly to a Kiwi like me that didn't know anyone. So yeah, it was a hell of a time, and I'd recommend a visit for anybody.
Now, I don't know off the top of my head, but I know you certainly will. Amount of winners you drove over there?
I got 12 over there, which I thought when I went over there, I thought hopefully I can get 5 or 6 drives, but yeah, to get over 100 drives and then 12 winners, it was awesome, and especially to go around so many different tracks and different states. I really got a good taste of the whole country.
Now, personally, I'd say your driving has gone to another level since you came back. Maybe just the things you've learned over there. I know you're probably using a little bit of a different style too, than what you did probably previously. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah, well, I suppose, outsiders looking in, I probably do have a bit of a different style coming back, but yeah, I must admit when I did come back here, it felt a lot different. Just getting used to the air racing over there for a good few months, and then to come back, it caught me off guard a little bit, but yeah, I think you're actually right. To be honest, tactically, I do look at races a little bit, well, a big bit different now, and just trying to get the horse to run fast for me, really, because over there they just want the drivers to get as much speed out of horses as they can. So I sort of try and do that, and yeah, tactics is a big thing as well. So probably looking at it in a very broad way, but yeah, I would say for sure it has changed me as a driver, whether that's good or bad. Hopefully good.
I know one thing you said the other day. Like I know the Americans racing a lot of single file stuff, really, aren't they? And then obviously coming back here, it's a bit tighter. And you said it did take you a wee while to just get used to that again compared to sort of the room you were given over there, and obviously just that different style of racing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Here in New Zealand, obviously we can push out and push down, sort of, right from anywhere from the start. So it's very tight and aggressive, and I understand Australia is pretty similar, but in the States, no pushing down or no contact at all. So yeah, it's sort of like you have plenty of room, and that was probably the biggest thing I noticed, not being as tight. So yeah, to come back here, I sort of had to get my aggression back, but yeah, it was probably the biggest thing I learned over there, and well, hopefully I'm doing now is, even though they have short distance races of a mile, you can be so patient and wait to the last bit. So yeah, that's what I've been trying to do.
And this video will probably go out probably next week. So after Republican Party runs in Melbourne this week, but he's been a horse that probably has stepped you up another level. I know Krug before that was obviously the one first Group 1 and stuff like that, but in the last 6 months, Republican Party just gone to that another level, winning the Auckland Cup, winning the Waikato Flying the other day, and now going on to take on the Hunter Cup, etc. Talk us through, and the people at home, what it does feel like to drive a horse of his quality against our very best. Like he slogged that race out the other day. I know he had a good trip, but he paid a Merlin in the last 100, and that must have been a great feeling.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and he's just a little quiet achiever. This horse, he's so casual. You get out there in the prelim, and you just put the reins on the dust sheet, and he does it himself. But yeah, you're right. These sort of last couple of months, probably since that New Zealand Cup third, he's really just gone to another level. And yeah, it's funny you say how they feel to sit behind like that Auckland Cup, and even I will say the other day when his win at Cambridge, it's sometimes it's so hard to describe, but you're sitting behind a horse and you just know that they're gonna give their best and get up, and that's what he's really given me lately. And you can probably count on one hand how many horses can do that, but his will to win probably steps him out, um, apart from the other good horses. So he makes my job pretty easy.
Prediction for throw you on the spot. Prediction for Saturday night. I just roughly saw the fields, but Leap to Fame's in there, and he's drawn touchback the row. But what are you guys feeling like over there? I know we're going to see this next week, so no punters will be able to get on. But yeah, what are your thoughts with him?
Yeah, well, we'll be able to see how good my prediction is here. Yeah, we've drawn for the second row. It's very tough, especially with Leap to Fame coming into two. So if I can get some cover in the running line and hits the line really strong, as long as he's running some pretty good last splits, 800 and 400, we'd be pretty happy 7 days out into a staying test of a Hunter Cup, which I think will really suit him.
Very good. Well, we better talk about what we're actually here to talk about, which is the Ultimate Driver Championships coming up next month in Albion Park. So, obviously, for the people out there that don't know, we're bringing Albion Park and Queensland Racing have done a slot series, but this time you're buying a slot to put a driver in. Boys get paid alongside our partner N40 Racing, and Josh Devine in Australia purchased a slot, and we've put CARTER DALGETY into that slot. So that's why we're chatting to him, obviously. But 10 drivers, 20 races, 250 of prize money, split between, obviously, of the different slot holders and winners, etc. You get to pick your horses and stuff like that. It's quite exciting, and it's bloody good to be involved. And then I thought we'd run through the other 9 drivers. So obviously you're our one, but we'll run through the other 9, and you might be able to give us just your something that you probably know. You know most of them. I know most of them, but you'll have a bit more insight into Yannick and Bjorn Goop than I probably would. We'll go through that and talk about them, I reckon, and just give us your opinions on them without being too harsh. Obviously, you want to beat them next month, but everyone's good mates, aren't they? So we all know. So we'll start with Dex. Dexter Dunn, everyone in New Zealand will know him. Double D, they call him. 120 million and plus in lifetime stakes earnings, 4,000 plus winners. The horses he's driven, Chris and me, which obviously you guys had a lot to do with. Bulldog, Hanover, Bettor's Wish, and as you can see, their feature race wins, well, Breeders' Crowns, says various in brackets, and I can say it's various because I reckon every time I hear the Breeders' Crown going on over there, he's winning 5 or 6 or 3 or 4, or he's having a field day. So Miracle Miles, Hunter Cups, Hambos. So we've talked about Dex already, but your opinion on how hard Dex will be? I'd say if we've got to mark it out, he's probably $1.50 in the championship, Carter. But give us some insight into Dex from your eyes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I had a couple of races against him in America, but obviously never in New Zealand or Australia. So being like my big brother, it's going to be pretty cool to get down and into it with him. But I think the biggest advantage that he has in this is he's driven in pretty much every harness racing sort of country in the world: New Zealand, Australia, America, Sweden. He's done it all. So his ability to adapt to Albion Park and Redcliffe, there's going to be no question there. So, and of course, he can get a horse to do things that other people can't. So, you're right. He's the favourite.
He's the favourite. And the next in the Summit Bloodstock and Ron Burke, there's a big syndicate there of boys. They're bringing over the Green Hornet, Yannick, from Canada. So 230 mil plus earnings, 8,000 winners. Best horses driven, a rock and roll dance. Father Patrick, both sires now doing decent jobs. Foiled again. Again, there are lots of Breeders' Crowns, Hamiltonians, Little Brown Jug. What insight can you give us into the Green Hornet?
Yes, Yannick, an extremely intelligent driver. Was very good to me in my time in America. He let me use his race bike a couple of times. So yeah, he that his list of good horses, and as you mentioned, stallions that he's driven is quite incredible. So yeah, he's got a stack of experience, probably more than anyone in the group. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going head to head. He's one very competitive French Canadian.
Do you think what's the difference in driving styles between Dex and Yannick? Obviously, they're racing in the same environment. They travel everywhere. I think they still live next door to each other, do they? Or close anyway. But what's the difference between those two that are racing in that same area?
Oh yeah, it's a good question, really. Like you couldn't really split them, you would say, in driving ability. Like they're two legends of the sport. But yeah, I don't know. For me to make comparisons to them is probably not fair. So
Yeah, probably throwing you in the deep end there. I just thought it's quite interesting, those two boys coming from up there, coming down here to take on ours. But obviously that style, you probably slot yourself into that style a bit more, don't you, when you go into different racing jurisdictions. We'll go to
Yeah,
the
most
next
definitely.
one. Yeah, we'll go to the next one, which is the Gloucester Park Guru slot. Junior Gary Hall Jr. From Australia, based over there in West Australia. 50 mil plus, 4,000 winners. I'm the Mighty Quinn, Chicago Bull, King of Swing. He's won the Inters, Undercup, Pacing Cups. Give us an insight into Junior. You wouldn't have driven against Junior before, I wouldn't have thought.
No, I've never been beside him in a race, so yeah, as you say, when I see Gary Hall's name, I think of the Mighty Quinn and Chicago Bull and those incredible horses that he's driven. So yeah, WA, not that I've ever driven there, but from what I see, it's extremely aggressive, and them racing on a half-mile track is another string to their bow. So yeah, this is going to be quite cool to get up against Gary.
I'm sure he'll bring a bit of life to the championship too, because I've seen some great salutes from him over the times when he's won those on the Mighty Quid and stuff like that. Geez, the boy can throw the reins up in the air and get that salute up in the air. So next slot driver in the triple play slot is Brad Hewitt. Call him Hollywood. He's from Australia too, in New South Wales. 750 winners plus, over 8 million in stakes. Driven some good horses there, which is all from him or his dad's barn, and won some nice races there. So Brad Hewitt, I think you would have definitely driven with him when you did a stint in New South Wales.
Yep, come up against Mr. Hollywood a couple of times, and actually Cup Week this year he was in one of the 3-year-old filly Group 1. So yeah, we went up against each other, and champion bloke, loves a good time. So yeah, he's done very well training and driving in New South Wales. So yeah, he'll bring a good personality to the trip.
Any insight into the name? I've never actually asked anyone how he got the name Hollywood. Do you think he just used to play soccer or something, got a few tackles, went down easily, or?
Yeah, I'm unsure, but we'll put it down to few soccer. What do they call them?
Yeah.
Hollywoods.
Yeah, well, that we'll have to find out when we're over there anyway. The next one, first over Crush Syndicate. I know a bit about the syndicate actually. There's about 20 owners, punters, and everything in there that Nathan and a couple of mates managed to drag together and got him a slot. So that was great from Nathan to bit of forward thinking there to get him a slot. So they call him the postman. Got our own postman over here, but he's the Australian version apparently, and 13 mil plus in stakes, lifetime wins. 2023. I'm not sure how right that is, but I know in the last few years, I'm pretty sure he was leading driver a couple of years ago, leading driver in the whole of Australia, like it's 400 winners or something like that. It's crazy numbers, but I'm sure he's doing roughly about that. He's always winning races in Queensland, so he's driven some good winners there. 5-time Group 1 winner. Have you driven against Nath? Nath's been over here a couple of times driving, but probably not regular for you when he was in New South Wales.
Yeah. I haven't driven against Nathan. I think he came over here maybe a year or two back and drove a really nice horse. So yeah, like you mentioned, his stats of amount of wins over the last couple of years has just been incredible. So yeah, he's dead set flying, and hometown advantage. Yeah, he's gonna know all the ins and outs.
Do you sort of do any form into obviously when you do horse form, it's pretty easy, right? You're watching replays of their last few starts, and when you're driving so regular as you do, you learn the horses, so probably don't have to do as much form. But with something like this, where it's these drivers that you haven't driven against, do you do some form on the drivers? Like, have you been sort of watching a bit more Australian racing than you usually would? Like, we've got drivers in here, Pete McMullen and Nathan Dorff in Queensland. Nathan, to me, come across as quite an aggressive driver. Peter McMullen later on, Leader Peter, they call him, loves having a lead up. It's pretty obvious with the name, but do you do that form? Do you do that form and sort of sit there and know when you get over there, that's what you expect from them?
Yeah, it's huge. I even find with day-to-day driving in New Zealand, you're right. You do know all the horses, well, by the back of your hand, really, because you're driving them every week or you're racing against them every week. So the horses, you sort of know them pretty well, but going into against new drivers. Some of them, yeah, obviously I watch Australian and racing and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to pick up a few of their trends and ask a few of the locals what tips they can give me.
Very good, right? And next one, Angus Garrard. So another one from Queensland. They call him the Kid. 6 million in winnings over that. 820 winners. Would have grown a bit more because I know he punches out regularly, probably 150 to 200 a year over in Queensland, driven some good horses there. And had a few feature wins, but probably the other young gun on the series, really, the young gun of Queensland, Angus Garrard. So someone around your age group, which is good carts.
Yeah, I'm pretty rapt to have another young lad like me on the trip. So yeah, I've met Angus a few times. I actually reckon me and him drove in the pony trots together, so that could be quite a funny story. So it just shows you where we can start from and where we end up. So yep, no, his amount of wins in a short period of time is amazing as well. So yeah, I'm glad to have another young fella in there with me.
Someone young in there for sure. The next one's obviously you. We know all about you. You go by two nicknames. I know we put in here go kart, but everyone here knows you by the Bomb in New Zealand, right? And everyone, and yet that go kart you were telling me sort of come from America. That's what they were sort of throwing out, was it?
Yeah, you're right. Well, my first nickname over there was actually Jog Cart, and then I started driving at the races, and they said you go too fast for a jog cart, so they renamed me Go Kart. So that stuck, and yeah, I think it stuck for a while. But yeah, a few of my mates here know me as the Bomb. Don't mind a Jaeger bomb. So yeah.
All right, very good. This one, Bjorn Goop, you'll be able to give me a lot more insight into because you probably watch a fair bit more of the racing over there or keep up to it. But they call him the Iceman. He's from Sweden, 200 million plus in lifetime stakes earning. That's huge, 8,000 winners plus. Best horses driven, Tomoko, Readily Cash, FaceTime Bourbon. God, there's some good horses in there. Feature wins, Elite Lot, Prixty America, Prixty France. Oslo Grand Prix, probably races that we could only dream of winning carts. So can you give us some insight into Bjorn? Because I have no clue.
Yeah, Bourne is probably, you would ask any driver in America or the Southern Hemisphere, that he's probably the best ever. You read out those names of horses that he's listed, and they're superstar sires, and those races like the Elite Lop and the one in Italy, like they're just as big as it gets for harness racing in the world. And I know, for the best drivers to be there on that day is probably a dream, let alone to drive in it and then win it a number of times like he has. So, yep, I met him at Yonkers last year for the international trot. Um, Very friendly, great guy, and I know he's really keen to get down to New Zealand, to Australia. So, yeah, he's going to be pretty cool to drive against, but obviously only doing trotters in Europe. Him jumping on paces, I'm sure he's looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. For those watching, that Sweden is all trotters, and down here it's probably going to be, I'd say, majority paces. I don't actually know what split it is, but that'll be an interesting one for him. That's going to be a huge learning curve for him to adapt to that. But as you say, plenty rating him as the best in the world, and no doubt, a pacer and a trotter, they can't be that different to sit behind when you're that good. Surely he'll figure it out. And a couple of slots left to go. Kate Gaff, you would know her pretty well. The Pocket Rocket from Australia, 24 million plus in stakes, over 2,200 winners it would be now by the time this is updated. Driven some good horses over there. Caribbean Blaster, Tornado Valley, one of the favourites of mine. Tough Tilly, she was a good filly last year, and some good wins there. Into Dom Trotting Final, Hunter Cups, Great Southern Stars, Victoria Cups. Give us a rundown on Kate Gaff.
Yeah, I've spent a bit of time with Kate. Her and Andy done a lot of travelling to New Zealand and brought horses to our farm. So, yes, her success in Victoria, which I actually haven't driven in until this Saturday, is has been massive. So yeah, you look at horses now. Tornado Valley was superstar trotter and Caribbean Blaster. He's one of my favourites. Watching him when I was growing up. So yeah, Kate, they can seriously run for her. So yeah, she's a great addition to this.
Aggressive driver, I'd say, and if she finds the top on one, doesn't like handing up too. So there's going to be a bit of I think there'd be a bit of that from everyone. Dex never liked to hand up here, and the next person we get to is leader Peter McMullen, and he certainly doesn't like handing up. So 20 mil plus in stakes earnings. He's based in Queensland, over 3,100 winners, driven some good horses there. Black Dance, always be Mickey, Whisper Secret, and won a few recent Group 1s, but he's been a dominant force in Queensland driving for probably the last as long as I've been watching, 15 years anyway, I reckon, and punching out big numbers. So have you driven against Pete anywhere?
Oh, I don't believe so. I haven't, no, but I just love this nickname of Leader Peter. It's outstanding, and yeah, when he gets a horse on the front, they really fly. So him having the home track advantage as well, bringing his aggression into it, he's going to be tough to beat, I think. Yeah.
Yes, and especially so talking about going, so that's all those drivers anyways, but just to finish off, with those 20 races, the way that the split works is basically they draw out the first slot holder. We can pick, if we are lucky enough to be the first one to get to pick, we can pick any horse in any of the 20 races. So we might want to pick horse number 1 in race 17. So I know you've been doing your form. We've got a couple of experts doing form 2 for us over there. So to get us on the same wavelength as Pete and Nathan Dawson and Angus Garrett, who are driving those horses regularly. So the amount of form you'll do, I know you've been a busy time. You've been bloody everywhere, I reckon, flying and driving and all that. And obviously this time in Australia, but you're going to get some time to dive into some Queensland form yourself.
Yeah, I think it's going to be important. Going to have the help of a few. Hopefully they're experts at the form over there. But yeah, I have actually been going through results and things like that, just trying to get familiar with the horses' names and whatnot. But yeah, it's hopefully the next couple of weeks I'll have a bit of breathing time and have a good look. But yeah, just consistency of watching a few races there, and when they hand over the reins to me, it won't be completely foreign.
For sure. No, well, great to catch up, Carts. We got there in the end. You've been a busy boy since December. I think we've been trying to do this, but we finally got there. So the dates of it are the 21st and the 22nd of February in Brisbane, Albion Park. So if anyone watching this is in Brisbane and wants to come along, get in touch with me, and we'll just send the Boys Get Paid group a message, and we'll sort you out. There's got some tickets there that people can buy and come along. We've got about 30 or 40 Kiwis between your mates. So you're going to have a noisy crowd there, plus a whole heap of families. So you're looking forward to that too.
Oh, I've got a great group of lads coming over, and yeah, a few family and good group of boys. So if you don't see me, you'll probably hear the boys yelling.
Very good, Carts. So I'll let you go, mate. But that was good to run through them, and looking forward to punching out a bit more content over the next wee while and getting there and hopefully taking them on and whooping their ass.
Absolutely, Fitzy. That's what we'll try and do.